Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through Sunday. Let's do our study group for warriors, my hardcore heads. Let's get into it. I got a lot to talk about. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is how we get down every Sunday. I basically just go through my notes. I take notes every single day. I study every day. It's part of the program. You can go to my website if you want coaching and mentoring, skyazrael.com. I always leave a link below. Let's get into it. Start from the back, go to the front, see how far we get. I got several pages. Here was a quote that I liked. Weak and as pathetic as I am, I can still stand up to the hardships of existence. And that's good enough. I mean, that's not a bad outlook on life. Some people have a real dreamy, crazy outlook on life, and life is a big letdown to them. But if you look at it in really small increments, look at it from the bottom. Yeah, I may be weak and pathetic, but I got up today, and I'm going to fight the good fight today. And that's really good enough. That's what a good life is. What do you guys think of my attempt to salvage this jacket? I picked up this jacket for $5 at the thrift store. Fits me perfect, one of those blazers. It had a patch. I should have put it over on the table so I could show you. It had a patch on the breast here that was a police badge. And I didn't like it. I didn't want to wear a police badge, right? I'm not a cop, far from a cop. So I took it off and I sewed on my own little patch. Little motorcycle guy. So we'll see how it works. A little twist on the traditional club jacket. You've seen these types of blazers, typically a blue blazer with like a country club patch or whatever. Well, this is my biker blazer. Political ideologies only tell one side of the story. The partisan, prideful side. So if you're lost in your political ideology as your worldview, then you are partisan and prideful. You're literally living in a bubble. You're seeing life through a small little lens. Imagine going around looking at the world through like a tube, and that's all you saw. That's what life is like for you when you're lost in your political ideology. That stuff is fine during election season, but don't live with that crap always swirling around in your head, make you go crazy, make you shallow and weak. I thought this was just an interesting little tidbit. A lot of people are focused on success and status. A lot of people want to be a part of this 1%. You've heard of that. I'm not talking about the 1%ers, the bikers, my bikers. No, I'm not talking about that, although a lot of you do want to be a part of the 1%. And I know a guy who's been struggling to be a part of any 1% crew for the last 10 years, and he can't get in. It makes me laugh. I feel sorry for him, because I get like begged. Every crew begs me, and he's trying to crash him, and he just can't figure it out. But I'm not talking about those 1%ers. I'm talking about the elite, the rich, the wealthy, the 1% of the world. Do you want to be part of the 1% of the world? Well, you might think of America. That's good enough, America. That's harder. I would focus more on the world than on America, because if you want to be the 1% of America, you're going to have to make, I didn't Google it, but you're going to have to make, 52 million a year or something like that or more. You're going to have to be not just a millionaire, but like an uber millionaire, a big time millionaire. You're going to have to be rich as hell. Oh, no. Globally. The economics of the world, not just of America. In order to be in that top 1% economically in the world, all you need to do is make $32,000 a year. $32,000 a year is worldwide 1%. So don't get lost in that wealth game. The rich is always just somebody who makes more than you. You have millionaires jealous of billionaires. Billionaires looking down their nose at millionaires. You broke fools, go park my car, you millionaire. The devil makes a mockery of the ignorant. One could say the plan of the devil is to keep you blind, keep you away from God, from love. What is God? God is love. So then what would the devil be? The devil is fear. Let's move on to the next one. I could talk about that for a long time. The devil makes a mockery of the ignorant. Are you ignorant? Here's another one. Did you know that being an atheist won't save you from hell? You thought it might, right? You thought you could get rid of God, you could play Nietzsche and just kill God. God is dead. Just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean you won't be judged, doesn't mean you won't burn in hell, my friend. And oh, you're probably sitting there saying, well, what makes your beliefs better than mine? You'll find out. You'll find out. So it only follows we talk about this next. If Judgment Day was today, right now, today, not tomorrow or in 6 weeks or in 6 years or in 60 years, but today, Judgment Day's today, right? Would you be ready? Or would you be like, hold on, I got something real quick to do, some shit to do real quick. You better get ready, fool. Why aren't you ready? Why do you need till tomorrow? Oh, you weren't planning on this? You weren't thinking about this? Why not? Here goes some advice. Feed a stray cat. Why? You might not be a cat person. You might not like stray animals, but why? Why would you feed a stray cat? Well, it's an interesting experience. I've fed stray cats, and at least with my experience, I've had on and off relationships with stray cats that cruise through my yard, and some of them are cool. They'll come up to you and you can pet them, but some of them aren't. And those are the ones that I've found interesting, the relationship, because you're feeding this creature who hates your guts and wants to kill you and despises you. This is a wild animal. Cats aren't like dogs. Very often stray cats are feral cats. They're not pets. It's a wild animal. It just looks really cute. So could you practice being kind to something that hates you? Could you be kind to a person that hates your guts? Could you be kind to that kitty every day, feeding that kitty, saying, I love you, little kitty, and the whole time it's like, I hate you. It's thinking in its head, looking at you with its evil eyes, I eat your throat out. And you leave that little bit of food, keeping it alive. It's an interesting relationship. It's an interesting practice. Here's some more advice. Be strong for others. You know, life isn't about you. I'm watching a friend of mine go through his little week drama right now, and it's annoying to me. I want to just shake him and say, man up, stop this, stop it. And he's like, just all sad and sorry. And it's hard to see someone like that. If you're not practicing being strong, if you're not training for strength training, what's going to happen when the storm comes, when shit hits the fan? Oh, you don't know? You'll just die? Well, apparently. Just go crawl onto the floor and die then. Some of us men are going to be over here trying to save the goddamn world. I have another buddy who's going through some anxiety over a potentiality that he doesn't really know if this is going to happen or not, but he's very worried about the worst case scenario, and he has a survival tactic, we all do this, of plotting and scheming and running stories and fantasies about the worst case scenario in this attempt to somehow be prepared for it. But see, the folly in that is that you can ruin your life. You can't be traumatized by something that hasn't happened yet. And that's what I had to tell my buddy, and I hope that got through to him. You can't be traumatized by something that hasn't happened yet. Stop it. Let's move on. There's a fine line between self-criticism and self-abuse. It's good to be critical. I'm very critical of myself. I'm my own worst critic. I don't need you to troll me. I troll myself all day long. So back off just a little bit from being so hard on yourself. Some of you people have taken this David Goggins crap and this Wes Watson crap. There's this, I could name about 5 others who promote this type of philosophy of calling yourself a bitch and motivating yourself like you're a little drill sergeant, but that's fine. But why be so mean? Don't be abusive to yourself. Be nicer to yourself. Back off a little bit on yourself. You ever see someone be real hard on someone else? Because I've been in management in companies, and every once in a while you get a manager and he's just really hard on his guys, and you might have to pull him aside, not in front of his team, but pull him aside and just be like, bro, you got to cut these guys a break. I mean, you can't be that hard on them. You might see this in the military as well. So go a little easier on yourself. You guys want to talk about PTSD just a little bit? Let's just go over some PTSD stuff for those of you that suffer from it. So I was watching a Jordan Peterson talk, and he has some interesting advice that a lot of people think is unusual, but it makes sense to me. And he talks about developing a very intricate theory of good and evil in order to combat, to cure, to get past your trauma, to get over PTSD. One of the reasons why it helps you get over it is because you can more easily categorize what happens in this world. You can make a cleaner story that makes sense to you, and that's the point, because we get stuck. This is the key issue with PTSD. You get stuck on a point from the past, on trauma, what you identify as trauma, because it's something you don't understand. It's a painful memory of something that happened to you that wasn't cool, and you ended up all fucked up over it. The guy that was standing next to you, that soldier standing next to you, may not have. He may not be in therapy for PTSD, but you are. Why? Why you and not him? Because you didn't process the information at the time properly, and you're still stuck in the past, and you need to get unstuck. So one of the ways that you do this is by creating a good narrative in your head, a good theory in your head, a very intricate theory in your head about good and evil, and what is good and what is evil. So then when things happen, you can easily categorize them, and you can go back through every single thing in your entire life and say good, evil, good, evil, good, evil. And what it does is smooth out your story so you're not stuck on any one thing, and you don't have this constant repetitive bullshit in your head going back to that one point saying why. So develop a theory of good and evil. But it goes further than that with PTSD. You give yourself some daily wins. You may be living in a world of negativity where you're beating yourself down and you're constantly, in a chemical, neurological way, you're actually killing yourself. You need to give yourself wins and to empower yourself, to get your endorphins running, your testosterone going, to get some positivity flowing throughout your brain, to literally shift yourself from one part of your brain to the next. One of the ways that we give ourselves wins easily through, micro movements, through our daily schedule. I promote this with every single person I coach, and I hope you guys are doing it. You roll your eyes, you don't understand the importance of it. Make lists, especially if you have PTSD. You need to have notepads, you need to make lists of every single thing you do during the day. Everything. And I don't care if it's brush your teeth or go to the gym. I don't care what it is. Eat breakfast, you do it anyways. Why put it on the list? Put it on the damn list. And the reason why you put stuff on this list is because you're going to cross it off. When every time you make an accomplishment, you make a move forward, a micro movement, you brushed your teeth, you ate your dinner, whatever it was, I don't care, you went to the gym, you cross it off. And then at the end of each day, halfway through the day, as you're going through the day, you see crossed off things on your list and you know I'm moving forward. This helps you survive. This helps you tremendously. It helps you with your outlook. Otherwise, if you don't do this, you feel like a damn failure. You start to go crazy. Final thing I'll say on PTSD, and this helped me, and again, this is some Jordan Peterson advice, but he didn't invent this. A lot of people discover Jordan Peterson and they've never heard anything he's ever talked about before, and then they think he invented everything he says. He's just a psychiatrist, and this knowledge is available. So he does a program called self-authoring, and that's his trademark product. But writing and telling your story has been around for a long time as a practice, as a therapeutic practice. And And what this does is help you sort out your own story, your own life. I was able to kind of put my own life into a cleaner story by writing my story. And it's not just enough to write it. You want to write it like it's a novel. Write your life story like it's a novel. You don't have to give it to anybody. But try to edit it at least once. Maybe you have a good story and maybe you want to make it into a book or a movie and you'll get famous, but at least try to edit it once. And what I mean by editing it is not just the spelling. Of course, you can do the spelling and the sentence structure, the technical editing, but do some copy editing and some plot editing, and you may find a story of when you were 13 and something happened to you and you wrote it real quick with tears in your eyes as you were typing, but go back to it and clean it up, and you may find a part of it that really isn't accurate. You may find a part of it that needs something added to it or needs something taken away, and this is so important because this is your memory. Now you're creating a smooth timeline, and then you can go and read your whole story back. When you're done, just read it to yourself. And it'll open your eyes of who you are. It's an amazing little bit of therapy that I've done and helped me tremendously. And many people want to read my life story, and I don't know if I can publish it. I sent it to a lawyer, and he told me, you better never publish this. If you publish this, you're going to prison. So I don't know what to do. Have a good Sunday.